Well, I think we can start. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for this second session of the Olympe update. I'm Simeon and I'm in charge of the product team development. So, the objective of those Olympe updates is really to share with you what has come in the latest releases of the platform, but also what is coming. And on top of that, really to get your feedback and get to know a bit how you use the platform, what you would like to see coming in the next versions and so on. So that's why we always finish by a Q&A session at the end. So let's get started and check the agenda of today. So we will start by showing you what is coming, what has come, sorry, in the April release that has been released end of last week. Then we'll show you a little demo about some bricks that has come in the marketplace that helps you to generate mock data thanks to AI. And finally, a small teaser about the next release coming next month. We are achieving a huge step forward in the product, so that's why we wanted to give it a little teaser to you. And so, as I said, we'll finish by a Q&A session. So please don't hesitate to participate, share with us how you are using the platform, any question you would have about those topics, but could be also other things about the product. So let's start with what has come in the April release, and I give the floor to Benjamin.
Okay, thank you, Simeon. Yes, I'm Ben, and I am a developer on the Olympe platform, and I will share my screen to show you the latest things that have come in the previous release. I want to speak about 4 points. Some new UI about the folder editor that you can already see here on this screen. Some navigation improvement between editors, about the insight filters as well, and some improvement on the Enums. Let's start by the UI. We have added some feature on the folders and bricks over the last months, added some icons, and we realized that it became a bit crowded to put everything on all of those tiles. So we have revamped the tile of each of those bricks, and it's very similar to the previous UI to not change everything, but we have decided to put the icons that are activable or that we can interact with on the top right, and the icons that are more like status icons on the bottom left. And you will recognize that the tiles are just a little bit different than before. But you can immediately see the status of each of the brick from the bottom status. You might recognize this new feature when we want to protect the brick with the shield indicator here that is coming and hiding accordingly. And you can interact with the brick from the top right. We can still see the dogs with the I button, and now we can list usage very easily by clicking this number. If it's 0, it's not shown, but otherwise you can immediately also see the usage of each of the brick. So obviously this is a demo project with very little usage, but still, if you want to know, this brick is used twice, and it's used in the admin app and the main app onload functions. You can also see the old login here is not used, and it's helpful to see that, and it will help to do some cleanup on the project if necessary. Also, we have kept the different folders with the colors for the apps and software intelligence and the structure that like before. But if we go out of the of this view here, we have also improved the view when we are outside of project. So now the folder, if I create a new folder here, we have really a row for all of the folders that will go on the top, and then the project below. And previously they were mixed all together and sometimes hard to find. So we hope it's going to be just a little bit easier to navigate in Draw. And this leads to the second topic, the navigation. So up to now, you probably remember that there is the tag in the URL of which item we are actually editing. It was called edited item. Now it is called item only. And when you open an item, you will see also this new parameter here, editor equals 0. 0 means it's the first, well, the index first editor. And then if we switch this, what we call the sub editor, it will follow that in the URL. So it means that if we reload, it will actually reload at the same place where we are, including the sub editor. It could be spec and doc, it could be the runtime dataset, it could be anywhere in the application. It will reload at the correct place. And yeah, also let's imagine that I create a new action B. This would be action E. Also, oh yeah, that's not the right place to actually do that. Yeah, if you go from the list usage, for example, maybe I will not go into all the details, but if you navigate with the list usage or other places of the app, it's very useful when you go back to actually go back to the right sub-editor that you were before. Maybe I will show another demo in another context. In yeah, in the insight filter, for example. So this is the third point I wanted to showcase today. I'm not sure how many people use the insight sub-editor because it's been here for a while, but it's always labeled as beta. But it's very interesting to see what you can get from this editor. We have improved in the previous release that the checkbox are remembered, so you can unselect the different thing that you have in the insight to load it more quickly than before. But now we can see more and more elements in this insight to help you maintain your project. And what I wanted to highlight is the unused element, which is new. So if you check that box, you will see each of the bricks that are not used anywhere in the application. Again, this project is very small, but you all know that working with large projects, with larger folders, we encounter bricks and we are unsure if they are used or not. So now we can see it from the icon here, but we can also have a very immediate view of all the bricks that are unused in a project to help us do some cleanup. And if you click on it, it will lead you to the container of that brick so that you can act on it, like delete it, move it, check something, you can do whatever you need. And the other thing that have been added in the insights is the to-do display. So you probably know that you can add comments and to-dos inside bricks. And now all the to-dos will be listed here if you need to. And again, you can see the to-do, you can see the text of the to-do, and if you click on it, it will open the element which contains the to-do. So that's helpful to actually see what is left to be done. And I wanted to highlight that the comment was not shown in the to-do. So this is really the difference between a comment and the to-do that you can find it in the insights. And now if I press back, for example, you realize I go back inside the insight tab, which is thanks to the new navigation URL, which is keeping the sub-editor in place. Okay, that was the third point of demo, and the final one is the enum. There is a, it might seem small change, but it actually changed lots of things. So you know that in Draw we can create enums in an enum folder. We can create different type of enum. Let's say here this one is a menu. We can use the enum for menu. Like here it's going to be a home page, a product page, or orders page. Here I have an enum for some state variable to show that an item could be a draft or under validation or validated. So we know how to do that. And those enums can be used. And here, for example, I have a config for a page, which use this enum here as a property. And if I go into the page config, I can see that here I have some pages with home, product, and orders. And up to now, when we would use an enum, it would be considered as a string when it is used. So the problem we had was that if I change here in the menu and say, okay, I have a typo here, I forgot to put an S because it's a page for multiple products. Here in the config, it was not following this change. So now we actually use the enums with a reference to the actual value of the enum itself, and it will automatically propagate at the right place. So you can gain confidence in the integrity of your enums. And it's also useful in other places. For the enums, for example, here I have an enum for body request. Let's imagine that you have different API call and you want to store all the body that are needed for doing those API calls. Here I have a filter for getting all product, and here to get the drafts with some different filters. And imagine that you are using this brick here with some maybe a body request, even a default value here, which come from the enum. If I play that here, if I try this action, we should see. I'm not seeing that.
You have put the filter. You have put the filter.
Yeah, that's the filter. Thank you. So we see here the value of the enum. And thanks to this new enum by reference, if I change it, sorry, I need to go in the enum folder. If I change it here and I forgot to say, let's say the type is product. Now, if I do the call API again, you guess that it's going to be printed with the new type equal filter in the console log. So the enum is really propagated correctly in all the applications. When I say all, I'm actually not telling the full truth. There is a case that you need to be aware of is for the data model. So when it's not about config, but really about business data, here I have an item with the state enum, and it might have some value here, draft and validated. For this one, we'll show you that if we change something, validated, let's say 2, it has not been updated. So now this value is considered as invalid, and the drop-down cannot show which one it is. So we can obviously select the correct value. But the reason is data model and business data can be stored in many different data sources. And we believe it's not the responsibility of Draw to control the life cycle of the data that is the business data. So you still need to be aware that changing the enum value will not be propagated into the business data. But other than that, enums are really now all linked together for every usage, and even for, let's say, here we have the list usage. So if you want to know where the get all product is used, you can click here, and you will also find that it's used in the call API brick here, for example. So we hope it's going to really help maintain your project and have a good integrity of your data and the code as data. So that's it for me. If you have any question, I'll be happy to try to answer them in the Q&A later. And back to Simon.
Thank you very much, Ben. And yeah, I can only say and encourage you to go on that release. I'm sure it will bring a lot and help you to navigate quickly and really accelerate the development process for your projects. So next topic is about generating mock data with AI thanks to new bricks we have delivered in the marketplace. And for that, I give the word to Patrick.
Thank you, Simeon. Hello, everybody. I'm Patrick from Olympe. So today I will present you three bricks, actually 2 that we will use, that are new to the Azure extension of the marketplace. So let's jump right into it. Can you see my screen? Yes. So to open these new bricks, so the objective of this new brick is to generate mock data for your application. So usually when you create a new application, you have a data model. So for this example, I have a really simple furniture shop admin application to manage your different shop and the furniture that are available inside them. So first I created my various data type here, shop and furniture with various properties. And now when I run my application, usually when you start, you build your application, but you have no data. So before, what you would do is to use the runtime a dataset to create some shops manually here. Shop name AAA. We can see that it appears here. But this can be very tedious if we have a lot of models, data types, and a relation between them. So the idea of this new feature, let me go back into the demo application, is to ask ChatGPT to generate for us the instances, the amount of instances that we want. So to do that, you need, of course, to import the Azure dependency into your project, then have a service app in which you will put this remote action mock data generator. So this is needed for this remote action to execute on your service app. So this is the step to set up the usage of this feature. Next, so in this small application, I have a button generate mock data, which call this action here generate mock data. So first, let's go in order. I want to generate 10 shops. And here, if I search for mock, I have generate mock data. This action will take a model. So here I have to say shop. The amount of instance that I want, let's say 10. And if I want to persist it or not. So let's try this one. If I click here, so it's going to ask ChatGPT to do the generation, come back, and then we will generate it. And we see that it generates automatically for each property. So ChatGPT really receives the name of the property and use it to infer which kind of value it will use to generate the mock data. Now, if I want to generate also 20 furniture, I will reuse the same break, but this time for furnitures. Let's say I will create 20 furnitures. So the idea also, because why I don't persist it, is, for example, if you are building like a form and your form is manipulating an object, you could use a button while you are constructing your application to automatically create an object so you can pre-fill your form. Ask ChatGPT to do it for you. Also, it's a good idea when you start to do it like this so you can really see if the amount that you created is good for the business that you want to represent. So here we have 20 furnitures that were created. And now the last part is how to also mock the relation between them. So here we have another action, which is called generate mock relation, which doesn't work with ChatGPT because it's pure algorithmic. But you need to tell from which model you go, the shops, to which one is the destination, furniture. You have to say which relation it is, because it could be there could be multiple relation here. And here you can also choose the type of cardinality that you want. So in our case, many-to-many is good. And also the chance of having a relation between the two. So here maybe I will put 30%. Let's try this again. So first it creates the shops. Then we will see the furniture appear. And then the relation is much faster, of course, since it's local. And we see which furniture are related to this shop and the contrary. So this is really to showcase what is happening behind the scene. So when you are happy with the tweaking of the percentages of the amount you have, what you can do is remove this button, come here, set this to true. Here, oh, sorry, my mouse is jumping. Set it to true and just run it directly from draw. once and for all, and then each time you work on your application, you have your data available. And this time it's persisted, so the next time I reload, we have. So that's it for this demonstration. So it's really about generating fastly mocking data for your application.
Great, thank you, Patrick. Sounds like we'll be able to build demo much faster now, thanks to that. Okay, so going back to the third topic. What is coming with 2.8? So I will showcase that to you. It will just be 1 minute, but really we wanted to share it with all our users. So this is an environment that, believe me or not, there are plenty of projects in there. The whole marketplace is also deployed, and you might have encountered like waiting time when opening Draw, or in the morning before your working day. And it's because actually it loads a lot of things, including for displaying the marketplace and so on. And today, what we will bring in 2.8 is what we call the subscription mode, which actually makes Draw capable of loading small things according to what you want to display. So let's log in with my account on that environment. And this is much faster than it was. Instead of around 45 seconds with a good internet connection, it was like just so about 2 seconds. But here I'm outside the project, so it means that it just have loaded the list of projects and the structures to navigate until I open a project. So let's imagine I want to open this project, which is quite small, and I don't need everything else. So you will have a small loader, as you just saw, and it will only load that project as well as the dependency it has, meaning just the basic dependencies. Now, what if I open my new action that I just created before? It's empty, but the first time, as you can see here, it took a little bit of time to just load the list of bricks that are available within the dependencies and the current project, but also outside that project. So if, for instance, I'm looking for the GPT things that our friend Patrick has just presented, even though it was not imported in that project, I can show here and see in my marketplace that I could have imported them. So just to show you that now things are loaded little by little according to what you need. And we have, of course, cache in places so that it won't reload and you still have a great user experience along the way. But that's really the main idea. So it's a kind of a huge feature behind the scene, making your work and your life much better than it could have been so far. So yeah, that's what is coming into 2.8. I'm sure you are eager to get it, and we can't wait to deliver that to you. So that's the topic of today. So now, as I said, so Q&A session. Does anybody have some question? I will have a look to the Q&A list. Not yet. So yeah, if you don't know how to ask something, so on Teams within the webinar, you can click on the top on the Q&A and ask things. Thank you, Richard. So is a brick not used contributing to the count of the bricks composing it? So brick A uses brick B and C. Brick A is not used. Will B and C show as used or not? So yes, today it's really directly the brick itself. So as soon as you see that in your example, brick A is not used, you can remove it, and then you will see in a second step that B and C won't be used. It's not recursive. Do the main search functions still work with the subscription model? Yes. So that's really the idea. As soon as we have a functionality which is which requires to do a global search, it will maybe the first time you will see a small loader, but the functionality would be still available, of course.
And it's the same for list usage, for example. Yeah. List usage also will look for usage outside of the loaded project. So yeah, this will work as well.
Any other question? Otherwise, I'm seeing the time is flying as well, and we have one more. Hello, Sophia. What will happen if one generates relation between persisted and non-persisted data? That's for you, I guess, Patrick.
Let me think. I'm not quite sure. I didn't do this in a long time. I guess once the non-persisted instances got deleted, the relation that are linked with it will be deleted, but not the persisted data.
Yeah, and what is for sure, the relation itself won't be persisted. So it's on the runtime itself only persists the relationship if two instances are set as persisted. And if you persist an instance which was not, which is linked locally to something which is persisted, then it will persist the relation itself as well. Sorry.
There is a question also from Nicolas. Do I need my own GPT API to mock data?
Actually, I'm not quite sure. I think Julien would know. I think yes. I think yes. I mean, on a client project, yes.
So when you deploy the backend with the remote action that Patrick just showed you, you must configure the backend so it has access to the GPT API key, of course, so that it uses your account to do the queries on ChatGPT. So this is available for the community, of course, but you cannot run the backend on the Olympe cloud. You must then execute the backend, for instance, locally on your NAS or whatever, and you could use your GPT API key for that. Thanks a lot for the participation, by the way. It's super nice to have questions. Anything else? Otherwise, I guess, Nico, yes. No, okay.
It was the wrong reaction.
Yeah, okay. So thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us for that session. Very happy to see the participation, and see you next time for new updates.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice
evening.
rest of the day.
Goodbye.